Welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, Dave beside me, Will down below, and we are ready to break down some Thursday hockey, and we also have a Thursday NFL game as well. We, however, do not have any baseball as the Cleveland and Yankees game got postponed. Justin, what's up? I would like to cash Seattle first 5 plus 125. That's to start my day. Best of luck with that one. And IceX is saying Igor. He is on the Rangers today. So there you go, IceX.
Yeah, I even know what that is now. I'm catching on. I know what that little Igor wouldn't have meant anything to me a week ago, but I get that now.
There you go. We will do what we usually do and is start the show by looking at the current standings for everything. Nothing has changed in baseball. Actually, Occupancy cashed his dog of the day yesterday. So there's that. NFL, still the same. I guess we'll look at it here for a second. College football, still. Actually, no, Dave, you cashed your total yesterday, and I think your best bet.
I cashed them both, but I'm so far behind. I'm in a hole. So,
hey, it's all good.
Yep.
Other sports, basically, it is the same. Nothing new in other sports. And hockey, currently off to a little bit of a rough start, but we got a lot of picks coming in, and it's a couple days in, so definitely not worried. It's a long season left. But we will start with the first game. Basically, I chose most of the games. There is 3 that we won't talk about. Well, not that we won't talk about, but they'll be lumped together in our goalie poll section of the show, which is a new segment for big cards such as this one. But we will start looking at the first game, which is the Buffalo Sabres at home against the Ottawa Senators here in this one. You can find Ottawa minus 115 and minus 125. Buffalo is minus 102. Minus 104 to plus 105. 6.5s right across the board in this one. And for me, I've been patiently waiting to fade the Ottawa Senators. I know everybody loves this Ottawa Senators team this year. I am not one of those people. Buffalo Sabres do start off the season well. If we do look at previous history, though, Ottawa has won 4 of the last 5 meetings. So they have had some recent success against Buffalo. But overall, Buffalo 6-3-1 in their last 10 at home against Ottawa. They've had success. 5 of the last 6 meetings have had at least 6 goals scored in it. I bet the over 6 earlier, which I think I got at minus 125. Now for the 6.5, you're looking at minus 116 to minus 102. So it's definitely moved towards the over, and I see why. Ottawa is going to be able to score some goals this year, but their defense is bad and their goaltending is bad. Even with Cam Talbot, their goaltending is bad, but without him, it's worse. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm on the over, and I'm also on the Sabres money line. I think they once again start the season off well with a win and a high-scoring affair. Dave, Senator Sabres, any thoughts on this one?
Well, the only thing I have to say about this one is you said everyone loves the Ottawa Senators and you don't. Well, I'm on the same side as you because you can't love something you don't know, and I don't know much about them. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Will, Senator Sabres, what's your thought on the Senators this year, and what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Senators are going to be an improved team. They have a very good forward group. Goaltending could be an issue with Forsberg back there tonight. I have this game pretty much at a pick'em. Small lean towards Ottawa, if anything. I probably wouldn't play it or recommend to anybody that they should play it from my model, but I would go with the over. And as a Sabres fan, I'm really, really excited to watch Owen Power play a full season of hockey.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're a Sabres fan.
Yeah.
This is by half of the first over parlay. I guess I'll send it here in a second. Forsberg is elite. IceX, I don't know. I don't know. But we'll move on to the second game here, which is the New Jersey Devils and the Philadelphia Flyers here. Surprisingly, it's moving towards the Flyers here, which is a bit interesting. You can find New Jersey anywhere from minus 122 to minus 130. The Flyers are plus 105 to plus 112. Sixes, I do see 6.5 available in this one. For me, it's New Jersey. New Jersey is a team that I am looking to back this year. I think they're going to be improved based on what they've done. 3-2-1 in their last 6 in Philadelphia, 5-2 overall in their last 7 against Philadelphia. They have had some success against this Flyers. This Flyers team was 30th in goal scoring last year, so 30 of 32 in goal scoring. And their top center, Sean Couturier, is out very long term, possibly the whole season. So not having their top center is I'm blanking on his name right now. But that's how much I don't want to say he doesn't matter, but the Flyers center depth is incredibly bad in this one. Devils won't have Nico Hischier tonight, but they will have Jack Hughes. So I do have the Devils money line at minus 127. Unfortunately, I got it a bit earlier. I will be adding New Jersey Devil money line plus Jack Hughes to get a point parlay after the show, and possibly some other Jack Hughes props. I look for him to go off here against the Flyers in game 1 of the year. The Flyers, not a team you're going to see me backing very often, if at all, for right now at least. Dave, Devils and Flyers, any thoughts on this one?
Nope.
All right. Will, Devils, Flyers, what do you think here? Are you muted?
I like the Devils. My model liked the Devils. I really liked them when it opened minus 100. At minus 130, I didn't make it a play, but I would be on the side of the Devils. I believe the Flyers are missing Couturier, Atkinson, Ryan Ellis, Rasmus Ristolainen. I mean, they're going to be putting an AHL team out there tonight, and the Devils aren't bad. I like the Devils just kind of how I like the Senators. Good young offensive teams with okay goaltending. So if anything, I would play the Devils money line with Terry.
All right. Dave says Devil's an appropriate name for a New Jersey team. Am I right? There you go. But we'll go on along to the next one here. The Florida Panthers and the New York Islanders in this one. When I looked at this game, I saw a stat that goes way, way back here. So 16 of the last 17 meetings have had 6 or less goals scored in them. In the last 11, 10 of the last 11 went under 5.5. The total is 6 in this one. I'll bring up the odds here. So you can currently find Florida minus 132 to minus 150. Islanders plus 114 to plus 120. Sixes, I do see 6.5 there in this one. These two teams, when they face each other, it goes under. As I said, it's soared under for 16 of the last 17 meetings, which goes back a long time. And that's in New York against these teams. Florida, a team that I think might have lost a little bit of their offense and defense as well. In the offseason, Florida team, I think, is going to take a bit of a step back. The Islanders, I don't think they're going to be overly better from last year. I still think they're not going to be back to their old selves. I think losing Barry Trotz will hurt them. But in this game here, I see a lower scoring game, so I'm on the under 6. It's a no-brainer for me. I'm not sure why it's at a 6. I get it. The Panthers were one of the highest scoring teams in the league last year, but they lost some pieces, and I think they'll take a small step back here. So give me under 6 in this one. Dave, Panthers, Islanders, any thoughts here?
No, just we talked about it, I don't know, a few shows ago that there's never been a recorded Panther death in Florida, but humans do kill Panthers. 22 last year. There's only 120 in the wild, which is bad. And the thing I have to say about the New York Islanders, they're on Long Island, right? That's where their arena is.
Yeah, or Brooklyn. They've moved a couple times. I don't even.
Well, if it's on the island, real original name, guys. Great job.
There you go. Will, Panthers, Islanders. What do you think here?
Oh yeah, I grabbed this myself at -114 yesterday. I never posted it for anybody because it wasn't really a model play. I just kind of thought the number was off. I don't think Florida should be pick 'em on the road against the Islanders. So I went with Florida there. But now I would probably take the Islanders at, if it's +130, where I saw it at one point, +125, I would take it there. But I don't know where it's moved.
All right.
Kind of like the Rangers earlier today.
Yeah, I moved. I switched over to the next game, so I don't have the odds. Only other one game, +20. I won't like it. Yes, I know. I guess it's on the island.
See, told you.
1-0 for Houston in the MLB.
Damn it.
But the moment I've been waiting for months now, since my Wild were eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. We do have the New York Rangers and the Minnesota Wild here in this one. And I will bring up the odds here. You can find the Rangers +105 to +117. You can find Minnesota -129 to -139. Sixes. I do see 5.5 available in this one. And for me, everybody can probably guess where I'm going in this game. If you look at the guy behind me there, Marc-Andre Fleury, he is ready for this game. The Wild 16-1-4 in home openers in their history. They've had a lot of success in home openers. Everyone is seeing the Rangers as a dog in this one, and I think the books are making this really nice to bet the Rangers right now. They're making it really attractive to bet the Rangers right now. But I think, and you know what? Normally, sometimes I don't really care what the books do. Obviously, this is my team, so I'm looking at it a little bit differently. But I agree. It looks great to bet the Rangers at +110, but I think the Wild will get the job done here. The only bet I have placed as of right this moment is Matt Zuccarello and Kirill Kaprizov both to get a point for +110. If you have access to Bet365, the same game point parlays are going to be huge for me all year long. But if Kaprizov is going to get a point, which if Minnesota is going to be in this game at all, he will get a point. Zuccarello, who is like his twin, basically on the ice, will definitely get a point as well. So it's +110 for that, both players to get a point. I will have the Wild money line involved, possibly in parlays, possibly single, depending on the price. We're getting to around -129 now. If I see -125, I'll be taking that in this one. Dave, Rangers, Wild, better have a whole bunch of thoughts in this one. Let's hear it.
I have some. Well, this is basically it. I mean, I don't know how I feel. Basically, Terry's forcing me to bet the Wild every game this season, so that's what I'm doing. But so I've already bet it. I got it -140, which makes my beehole pucker because I hate anything over -130. But here's a scary thing. We've got a goalie who's supposed to be one of the – what's the guy's name on the Rangers? One of the best goalies in the league.
Igor Shesterkin.
Starts with the S, right?
Shesterkin.
I don't know. Remember, I said quick is easy for me. Vasilevsky is hard enough for me. But anyways, we have one of the best goalies in the league versus a guy who's called a flower. Okay, so there's an issue, and Terry's forcing me to bet the Wild, so I'm betting the Wild.
I'm not forcing him. What I said is that, and actually, I think it was Nick that said, if you bet the Wild every game the last year, you were profitable. If you bet the Wild every game the last 4 years, every game, you're profitable. So there's that for you. Will?
Too late now.
Perfect. Justin's on the Wild. Will, what do you think here? Rangers and Wild.
Yeah, I think the Wild are a good team this year. I had about a 4.5% edge at minus 130. I love this number because I think you're seeing last year's stats with the Wild not having a goaltender like Fleury. And I know Fleury's stats weren't great last year, but he was playing in Chicago, and we know how good they are. So I just think that Minnesota has a really good team this year, a really good offense, and with a good goalie, I mean, they can shut teams down like New York. So I'm on the Wild tonight, minus 130.
Awesome. Justin says Dave definitely blinked twice. He's in trouble. But one other prop that I forgot to mention, Marco Rossi, I believe it is only available. Yeah, you can only get him to score a goal anywhere from plus 400 to plus 525. The thing about the Wild, and no, this is not just the Wild fan saying this, the Wild have 4 lines that are going to be able to score. Obviously, they have the Kaprizov line. Second line, you got Marcus Foligno with Joel Eriksson, who had a career year last year. Tyson Yost is going to play with them until Greenway is back. Then on the third line, you got Frederick Gaudreau, who is low-key sneaky, a good player, with Sam Steele, who killed it in the preseason, with Matt Boldy, who will only bring out the best of both of those. And then on the fourth line, you have Marco Rossi with Connor DeWer and Brandon Duhaime, both young players who looked really good in the preseason playing with Marco Rossi. Rossi is not going to be the best player on this team. That's Kaprizov, but Rossi will most likely be the second best player on this team for a long time. Very high on him. Plus 350 to plus 525 to score a goal. He's definitely a look. But as I said, the Wild have 4 lines that will be able to score. So player props may be tough on them at times because it's not just one group of players that will be scoring. They'll have depth all around. But we'll move on.
I have a hockey question.
Okay.
Are the only things that switch on the line are the forwards in the center or the wings in the center? The defense stays in all the time? Because you mentioned 3 players on each line.
Yeah. So there's a line, which is the 3 forwards.
Yes.
And then the defenseman is defenseman pairs. So they're pairs of 2, but they go differently.
Okay,
just because you have 3 forwards out doesn't mean the 2 defensemen they'll change.
And obviously you can switch and have more. You can switch your line and have more. I'll call them forwards. Where that's what they are, forwards. You can have 1 defenseman and like 4 forwards. It can be
power plays. Yes, sometimes Minnesota will have 5. They've had at one time, or in the overtime they had 4 forwards on the ice. But yes, before we get to the next game, something I want to mention this for anybody that is new to the show or that doesn't really know anything about the Minnesota Wild. If you look at last year, when the Wild pulled their goalie, they had more than double the amount of goals scored than any other team. It was that big of a difference. They score goals with the empty net. So if Rangers are winning this game by 1 goal and there's 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, you're darn right I'm betting on the Wild because they'll pull the goalie and you can get some nice plus prices on them. So definitely consider that. Live betting with hockey can be very profitable. We'll move on along to the Dallas Stars and the Nashville Predators in this one. And you can currently find Dallas plus 110 to plus 115. Nashville is minus 130 to minus 135. 5.5s right across the board. This one, I backed Nashville in both of their games in Prague. The second game, they did not catch the run line for me, sadly. But now they're traveling back home, or they've traveled back home, and they face the Dallas Stars in this one. Only thing I don't like about this is the travel. I don't like the travel. I'll be honest about that. But what I do like is Nashville has had success against this Dallas team. 6-1 in the last 7 games played against each other in Nashville. 4 of these 7 meetings went to overtime. So not only will I be betting the Predators money line, which I got bet it out here. Okay, sorry, I have not bet it yet, but I'll be betting it after the show. Not only will I be betting the Predators money line, I'll also be betting the draw. Oh yeah, they're minus 130 right now. So I'm going to be parlaying the Predators with a player to get a point, most likely Granlund. So that's what I'm going to do with these minus 130s to get them to a plus price. I'll add a player points into a parlay for them. But I do like Nashville here on the money line, and I like the draw. I think Dallas was a huge draw team last year, and draws you'll find for plus 400 for teams for a draw. Teams go to overtime, and when you catch teams like the Stars who go to overtime a lot, you'll be able to cash those plus 400s. And I'll be giving out draws all year long as well. So look forward to that. But I look for this game to go to overtime and the Predators to sneak out a win here. Dave, Stars and Predators, you requested to talk about this game. What do you like here?
Yeah, I have a question about the Stars. Were they in Dallas, then went to Minnesota, then came back? Or they
were in Minnesota and then they went to Dallas.
Okay. Well, the thing about Stars is we all know that they can be predators too, as evidenced by the Me Too movement, right? But anyways, I chose this game because something jumped out at me. And the Stars team total is 2.5. And it was juiced to the over at minus 130. So not knowing anything about hockey, I jumped into it. And with my very simple brain, first I asked a hockey expert, one of the experts, whether or not the Stars got better, worse, or stayed the same on offense. And I was told slightly better. And then I asked, did the Predators on defense get worse, or better, or the same on defense? And I was told the same. So seems to me like it's an edge towards Dallas scoring more goals. So I looked at how many goals they scored last year per game, and it was 2.87 per game. And then I looked at who the goalie was, Saros for the Predators, who is one of the better goalies, supposedly, I guess, talent-wise. And his numbers are above average, but he gave up – what did he give up? He gave up 2.64 goals a game. The team as a whole gave up 3. I'm guessing that's the backup goalie. But either way, both of those numbers, on average, how many goals the Stars score and how many this goalie gives up are more than 2.5. So I'm going with the Dallas Stars over 2.5 goals at minus 130. And I have no idea if that's a good bet.
All right.
Hashtag me too.
All right. And I do want to address this comment here quickly before we go to Will. Betting against the best goalie with Terry and friends.
Poke the bear.
Yeah. Igor Shesterkin, yes. He had an amazing year. Yes, he's going to be an amazing goaltender. But at this point in his career, he's no Marc-Andre Fleury. Look at how long Marc-Andre Fleury has played and has look at his career. Igor Shesterkin is not the best goalie yet. He's got some work to get there. Will, Stars and Predators, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I grabbed the Stars plus 123 yesterday. I think it was plus 124 at Bet Online. It was plus 120 at PointsBet. I think they've been bet down, though, in the past hour or so. This is about a 4% edge for me, and it pretty much stems from the fact that Nashville's biggest edge is going to be matched. San Jose could not match Yusei Saros, and Dallas can. Jake Ottinger is a good goalie, and he can shut down Nashville tonight. So I think Stars plus 123 is a gift, and we won't see it next time Dallas goes to Nashville.
All right.
So Stars over 2.5 goals. We like that. Will and I like it.
Hey, I'm on Nashville.
I know.
I'm backing the team. I don't know. I'm backing Nashville. Lenny says go Rangers.
You're high.
Tim says UPL. No comment. Tim says UPL. is the best goalie, and Detroit Lenny finds that funny. But we will go on to the next game here, and going to be a really good game. So if you don't think Rangers in Minnesota is the best game of the night, then you're most likely going to think this is the best game of the night. We have the Colorado Avalanche, the Stanley Cup champions, in Calgary to face the Flames. Here, you can find Colorado for plus 110 to plus 120. Colorado is minus 130 to minus 140. 6.5s right across the board. And this one here. Colorado at plus money. You're not going to see that very often. And I don't want to sound like Nick, but is it a trap? I don't know. Rangers at plus money, Colorado at plus money. I'm on the Flames. I didn't take them minus 135, the price that they are now. I got them at minus 120 earlier. So obviously money is moving in on them. Yes, going against Colorado is not going to be how do I say this? Going against Colorado is not going to be, I'm not going to wake up and say, I'm fading the Avalanche today, because that's not going to go well for you very often. But this Flames team, they lost a lot, but they added even more after losing a whole bunch. Everybody, Flames fans, were ready to panic. And I was thinking, oh boy, what's going on with this team? They're completely lost it. But they were able to recoup even more than what they lost. And looking at it here, I have to get a Nazem Kadri prop. Kadri left the Avalanche to go to the Flames, and I have to write that down. Kadri props, I'm definitely going to be hitting that after the show because I think he'll score against his former team here tonight. But I'll be looking at that after the show. But I do like the Flames here in this one, although now that the price is moving towards them, I won't talk anybody. If you're getting plus 120 with the Avalanche, I'm not going to talk anybody off that. I just think that the Flames are the right side. Melissa did send me a stat. The Flames, I think, 10-1 in their last 11 season openers. So they haven't had some success in the season openers, but I think they break that streak tonight. Dave, Avalanche Flames, what do you think here?
I will say this. We know how much I know about hockey, but I'm learning. I do know a lot about betting because I'm a handicapper and I handicap a bunch of other sports. And I know in baseball, which is the closest sport to hockey as far as betting, there's a mantra. And Tim pointed it out, and I can't see because there it is. Or Nick. Who's on Earl Sports Bet? Is that Nick or it's who? One of the Earl brothers pointed it out. Avs is a dog is like the Dodgers is a dog. So here's the deal. When you see a really bad team that's a favorite, you bet them because there's a reason. When you see a really good team that's a dog, you bet against them because there's a reason. So I am blind betting just on that notion, just off knowing how to bet and odds and where it's going to fall. I almost guarantee you, if this game happened 100 times, you'd be profitable. So I'm betting. If you have the Stanley Cup Finals champions and they're a dog this early in the season, I'm betting the Flames. The Flames of Calgary.
Liam says the over surely cashes. I don't like Colorado's goaltending whatsoever. So I like the over on their side. However, Markstrom could be lights out at any moment. And if it is a trap for the Avalanche, this game could end 3-0 Flames or something. So,
and they jacked up my under yesterday. Will said the freaking Jackhawks only had 13 shot attempts, and they let him score twice. And if they didn't only let him score once, I hit the under on a game everyone was on the over with. So, yeah, screw their goalkeeper.
There you go. Will, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm with you, Terry. I grabbed Calgary minus 120 yesterday. Colorado traveling on a back-to-back combined with I had a 3% edge, made it a play for me. I don't think I would recommend to anybody to drop minus 135 or minus 140, even though I do think it's the correct side. but I would say the under, I think, is showing a little bit of value. These two teams have two of the best defenses in the league, and we've gone from 6 to 6.5. I do understand that the floodgates can open at any point tonight, and we can get a 10, 12 goal game, but I think 6.5 is a solid number with two Stanley Cup playoff teams.
I'm not betting it, by the way. It's minus 136 is the best that I'm looking at. So no thanks.
Yeah.
But if you got it under minus 130, if that was, I mean, that's,
yeah.
If I would have known with baseball, I would have saw this and said, what the hell, the Dodgers are, I'm not, I know the Avalanche are good. I kind of don't know how good the Flames are. They were in the playoffs. I know that. But anyway, yeah, guys, don't bet a minus 130.
You would have seen the plus 100 and questioned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Terry's teaching me. Blindly bet the Wild.
Now. But yes. But now. We'll move on along to the next game. Then we'll go over the last four. And then obviously we'll get to the football game. But this game is going to be interesting tonight. We have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vegas Golden Knights. You can find Chicago plus 285 to plus 318. Vegas is minus 333 to minus 400. 6.5s right across the board in this one here. And I'm on the over 6.5 in this one. Chicago, horrible defense, horrible goaltending. They're not going to be able to stop pucks very often at all. And Vegas is kind of in the same, I don't want to say the same spot. They also have goaltending questions, but they also have an offense that is very good. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. So I'm on the over 6.5 in this one. And then I did tail Josh Inglis on Twitter on a play in this one, which is if you do have access to Bet365, I took every player to get a point that was available. Ignore Finnegan in the background barking. I apologize. But I took every player to get a point that was on the list there for plus 4,000. It's not every single player on the team. It's just like their top players. I don't have the list in front of me. But if you have access to Bet365, and I put a small amount on that, but it was plus 4,000. I expect a ton of goals from Vegas tonight. So I expect a lot of players to get a point. A little for fun parlay here in this one. But I like the over in this one. I see a lot of goals. Dave, Blackhawks, Golden Knights. What do you think here?
I have a play in this game, but I want to address DX Filer up there saying that my mantra is awful. Let's try this, bud. Every time the Avalanche are dogs, let's see how many times they lose. We'll see. Because I'll tell you this season, every time the Dodgers were dogs, almost every time I took them, and I can guarantee I'm at least 60% on that bet, even though the Dodgers were a very profitable team. So anyway, I will track that every time the Avalanche are dogs, how many times they lose. But I will say that Terry's also forcing me in a way to bet the Blackhawks every game because he doesn't like it so much and it bothers him. That gives me personal enjoyment to some extent. So he is forcing me in a roundabout way to the Blackhawks. So what I'm doing is I'm not doing it every game. It's a horrible bet, horrible team. Really cool jersey, really cool logo. But whenever they're playing against a minus 300 favorite, I'll bet a quarter unit. I'll piss away my football winnings and basketball winnings and baseball winnings. That's fine. But I'm doing an experiment. The Wild are supposed to be profitable. I want to see if a big dog can be profitable because I can tell you what, there are baseball teams that are that way. The Pittsburgh Pirates were usually that way, not so much this year. But why not? It's quarter unit. It's for charity.
No.
And, by the way, this is what I'll do. Any of my winnings, I'll keep track of it. I'll give the charity.
All right. There we go. This is correct. No dogs barking for the Hawks. Ignore Finnegan, who's barking at this time. It's because there's a dog out front. It's not because that the Blackhawks are live, at least in my opinion. No, IceX, don't even put those words in the same sentence together. Don't do that. Will, I'm sorry. And thinking of seeing those words in the same sentence just gets me off. Puts me right out of mind. But Will, Blackhawks, Golden Knights, what do you think here?
Yeah, this kind of hurts to say, but it's my biggest edge of the night. I had the Bruins last night about 9% edge, and they cashed against Washington. This one I also have about a 6% edge, but it's ugly and I don't want to take it. So I'm going to put a quarter unit on it, 3-1 odds, and it's less because of the talent the Blackhawks have, because they don't have any, and more because I just don't think Vegas should ever be a minus 350 to minus 390 favorite this year in the NHL. I don't think they're that good. And I don't think many teams should be around there unless they're Colorado, Calgary, Tampa. Vegas isn't this good. So I'll put a quarter unit on the Blackhawks.
Guess Dave knows something, doesn't he?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna quickly address that. Dave wasn't kidding when he said he doesn't know hockey.
No shit.
Dave caps all the other sports, but he doesn't cap hockey whatsoever. He doesn't know anything about hockey. That's common knowledge. But he's here to learn, which is the big thing, is that he wants to learn. He's not just going to ignore it. He does want to learn it, so that's good.
I do ask serious questions behind the scenes. These guys I do ask serious questions about hockey, but for right now, I got to rely on my horrible wit to get me through because I know nothing.
Did you take the Nats at all plus 300 this year?
The Nats? Are you asking? Not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's Nick. That's Nick. You and Nick. Well,
I'm not a baseball guy, but you got to do it.
Oh, the Nationals? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a time. Okay, you're talking about baseball. There was a time where Nick put every time they were a plus 3 or they were not. It's not always a plus 300 and a minus 300, but whenever they were the favorite was a minus 300. He'd put a half a unit or whatever on that team, and he was doing real well. But I do pick my spots. I don't follow that blindly, but I will say because I know nothing about hockey, I'm going to do it blindly and see where it goes. Because I guess the Blackhawks are the Nationals of the NHL. I guess that's the comparison.
Might be even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Nick saying Hawks for the Cup makes you saying Sabres for the Cup look a lot less dumb.
Oh, Sabres are winning.
We'll move on to the next game before we get to the – actually, no, that is last game. So we'll get to the last 3 games that we didn't talk about. Arizona, Pittsburgh, Washington, Toronto, and Seattle and LAK, sorry. So many LA initials to put, so many different sports. But obviously, if you look at Arizona and Pittsburgh, I didn't have it on the slate because they're Pittsburgh minus 375, huge favorites in this one, but they're 9-1 in their last 10 at home against Arizona. They've won by 2 or more in 7 of the 9 games. They've won by 3 or more in 5 of the last 9 games played. They have a lot of success against this Arizona team. So what I did is I went to Bet365 and I did a same game parlay. And I put Pittsburgh to win in regulation, parlayed with Jake Gensel, Sidney Crosby, and Rickard Rakell. So the top 3 players on Pittsburgh, all to get a point. And Pittsburgh team total over 3.5. And that was plus 300 for those. So basically, top line needs to get a point each. Pittsburgh needs to win in reg, and they need to score 4 goals. I cashed a plus 300. That's how I tackled that game. I think they absolutely smash the Coyotes. If we're talking about who's the worst team in the league, Dave, Chicago, but Arizona will likely be worse. Philadelphia isn't going to be a whole lot better of those 2. Washington, Toronto, we have Samsonov going to face his former team in the Capitals, but we also have Washington with a lot of success in Toronto. This game, I'm not really interested in it. So I kind of passed. And Seattle and LA. Seattle was a tough loss yesterday, but what wasn't a tough loss was my best bet winner in Matthew Beniers to get a point. And now it's moved to plus 100 for Beniers to get a point. I've got a full unit on it, and it's going to be my best bet again, most likely. Haven't quite decided. Still a little bit of time. Haven't put my best bet in yet. but Matthew Beniers most likely. I think he has a point in 10 of his first 11 NHL games. So he's their best player for Seattle, and I do think he'll be able to get a point. But I think that LA probably wins this game in that one. Dave, final 3 games. Anything you like in any of those?
No, you know how I feel about. Actually, if you watch the show, you know how I feel about a lot of these teams, particularly Penguins. March of the Penguins, remember that whole thing, and the Coyotes. But I will say that there are no Coyotes in Antarctica, but there's definitely a zoo in Phoenix that has a penguin. So think about that when you're betting this game.
There you go. Will, final 3 games of the night that we didn't talk about. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll run through them quickly. Arizona, Pittsburgh. I liked the 6 at open on Superbook, but I don't have Superbook, and all the other sports books opened at 6.5, so I never really got it, and I probably wouldn't play it at 6.5 now. Washington, Toronto, I have this projected right where the market is, and I don't trust either of these goalies. If you want to parlay, a bunch of players to score from both teams, some doubles, some triples, go real light, but that would be the game for me to do it. And then lastly, for Seattle, LA, I had a pretty big edge on Seattle tonight again, but they played about as good as you can last night. 47 shots on goal. I think the expected goals was something like 4.8 to 2.3, and they lost 5-4. So I'm not going to play them here. I think there was definitely value at plus 165 at open. I still think there's value at plus 150, but I wouldn't play it because of the situation. Seattle lost a heartbreaker last night, and LA lost a heartbreaker 2 nights ago. So I think LA comes out and kind of whoops them. I do think that the under 6.5 has value. I played the under 6 actually this morning at like 11 a.m. and movement happened at 11:15. I was quite disappointed. Because I would have rather got the under 6.5, but I think my over-under will be under 6.5 tonight for this game. I might have these teams wrong, but I have this about a 5 goal projection.
What game is that you're talking about?
Seattle, LA.
Well, okay. Are you done? I have a question if you're done.
I'm not surprised. He looked really good.
Yeah, I got it for plus 100 at DraftKings. So, what's your question, Dave?
Okay, I just want to make sure you're done. I don't want to interrupt. So, there are games that are unbettable because of the odds, and I just off of my capping of Penguins and Coyotes, I was looking at the Penguins, and all the odds suck. Even the Coyotes over 2.5 is plus 125. Pittsburgh team total is 4.5. Which is, I think, is super high. Obviously, the money lines are untouchable. The only way to bet this game, and just tell me if this is based off odds, would be the total, right? I mean, that's the only bettable bet because everything is juiced over minus 200, or it's jacked up to I'm not going to take a team to score 5 goals in a game.
Yeah, I have this game at 7.7 goals, so I would lean towards the over.
So you're thinking 5-3 or 6-2 or something yeah. See, that's something I want to learn, but that to me is a scary game, just a stay off game completely.
I like 6s a lot more than 6.5.
Oh, for the total? No, I was talking about the team total of 4.5.
Oh, team total, yeah, 4.5 is a little high. I think that's right where it should be. I mean, Pittsburgh should dominate tonight. Terrence,
what do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's player props. When you get to a game that you can't bet, but obviously for you, Dave, if you're still learning hockey, and for others out there that are still, because I know there's probably viewers watching as well that are new to hockey as well. Player props, it's going to take time. You're going to have to learn the actual teams first, and then you'll get to player props. But player props can be very profitable. That's basically the way I would go. And if you are a person that parlays, that you could use a parlay. But if you don't parlay, then yes, it might be really tough to bet that Penguins game.
Well, you know me.
Yotes and Blackhawks on a neutral. Who is favorite? Blackhawks. Blackhawks are still the better team against the Yotes. I was a little bit torn in the season preview shows but the Yotes don't have all their top prospects. The Yotes have drafted some good prospects, but they're not playing with the team. So the Yotes are a team that they're tanking for Bedard is what they're doing, which is very smart, but that's what they're doing. DX asked goalie pull ? In baseball, we had a last pitch segment, which is basically just going over the rest of the games because sometimes if there's a lot of us, we're not going to be able to go over every game, especially on big slates. So that's just what the segment's called, is goalie pull here. And then I think that is it. Seattle Kings over 6. Jari save props. Yes, but how much shots are Arizona going to get? I don't know. I don't know how much. Like if you look at the Blackhawks game yesterday, they got 13 shots. I don't see Arizona getting too many shots against Pittsburgh, to be honest. But
I did take a look at all the save props today, and I didn't see much value so I didn't play any.
All right, we do have one for best bets. Actually, someone put in a best bet for save props. So Liam says Crosby will go off tonight. I hope so. 23.5 for Jari. Yeah, that is low. You had goalie pull listed next to pit game. I thought it was actually. Oh, no. What over is your guys' favorite tonight? Seems like a lot of 6.5s. Well, I'm on the over 6 in Ottawa and Buffalo, but if I obviously it's 6.5 now. But my favorite over would be Chicago and Vegas because I think Vegas will probably score 5 or 6 themselves, and Chicago probably get 1 or 2 as well. So that's probably my favorite one. And then Nick says Vijmelka save props. But we'll move on along. BetStamp, use code WILD in the referral code section. Obviously, BetStamp is what I bring up to show you all the odds. Great for finding different bets, different odds at different books. Do your line shopping. It really matters when making the most money. But we'll move on along to Thursday night football. We have the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears. I will not be watching this game. I will not be thinking about this game. I don't even really know this game exists, to be honest with you. It's the Wild season opener at the same time. So you know what I'll be watching. But even if the Wild weren't playing, you think I'm going to watch this game? NFL, I don't understand. I don't understand, but come on now. Commanders and Bears, anyways. You can find Washington minus 111 to minus 125 road favorites against Chicago, who you can get minus 105 to plus 105. 38s. I see a 37.5 and a 39 as well. Minus 1 or minus 1.5 for the Commanders. If I was betting anything in this game, it's the Bears. And I would bet the Bears at minus 120 favorites against the Commanders. So if they're plus 100, I definitely think there's value. I'm just not betting on the Bears. But this Commanders team is awful. The Bears 2-0 at home. I don't see why they don't go to 3-0 at home. I think this is a very winnable game for them. This Commanders team is awful. Dave, Commanders, Bears, what do you think here? The game of the night.
It's my favorite game of the night for sure. And I will be watching it on live stream on PSR. Here's the deal. These teams have actually played a really good decent schedule. They beat they only played one really shitty team that they beat. The Jaguars, who are a shitty team, the Commanders beat. Terry and I were at odds about that, and I was victorious. But anyways, the Texans were beat by the Bears. But the problem is the Bears had a quality win. Granted, it was a weird, muddy, strange, rainy game against the Niners, who actually are a top-tier team in the NFL. So when you go into breakdown and look at these teams, all of their stats suck. They're all in the back half of everything, except for the fact that the Bears against the pass are average, maybe slightly above average in yards per game. And that's really the most important stat there. And all the Commanders can do is pass the ball. But who's passing the ball? Diarrhea brain, Carson Wentz. And we've seen him be a super diarrhea brain this year. So if you're giving me a pick'em against these two bums, and you have Carson Wentz on one side with a one-dimensional offense, and you have Chicago at home, who beat a really good team in the Niners, I got the Bears. The Bears.
All right. Dallas Stars will win. Not sorry, Toller. Toller is obviously the Bears.
Over 2.5 goals. I got that bet. That's my best hockey play.
Yeah, he's not here in the chat, but I do have his best bet, which is Nashville. Surprise, surprise. But hey, he's in 2-0 in his best bet, so am I. Sorry, Terry. Rangers will win. We'll see, Cabano. We'll see. Will, any thoughts? Commanders and Bears?
No, not really. I'm not huge into NFL capping. I did myself place a small bet just for fun. I'm probably not even going to watch the game on both teams not to get a touchdown because it was priced wrong at WinBet earlier today. It was 75-1. It's down to 50. So sorry, it's not there anymore.
That's a good bet, actually. I mean,
it's chalky because everybody's been doing it for the past 2 weeks, but might as well try.
9-6, easy, all field goals. I could see it.
Or 35-34 with no defense.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
No.
Well, yeah, with those teams, I could see neither team getting a touchdown.
You don't want to see Diarrhea Brain throw 3 interceptions? I do.
Now, Dave, there was a stat that was on Twitter. He's 6-0 on Thursday games. Carson Wentz.
Day of the week.
I know, but
stupid.
with football, because there is
Dave, it affects your brain.
Played on certain days. It's a little bit
He
different.
has we said diarrhea brain. I told you he has diarrhea brain.
We shall see. I'm not betting it, but if I was, it would be the Bears. I'm rooting for the Bears for you, even though they're a division rival, the Vikings, but I'm not worried.
Yeah, like they're going to challenge.
And Melissa's a Bears fan too, so
she is.
I'll root for the Bears here in this one. We'll go to best bets, and we'll start with over-under, as we usually do. And for me, I'm going with Chicago and Vegas over 6.5. Nick is going with Toronto and Washington over 6.5. Tim is going Calgary team total over 3.5. Dave, you are going to college football. I'm guessing that's tomorrow.
Nope.
There's games tonight. Oh,
there is.
See, I didn't even know.
I'll throw this one out there for this one. Temple is a horrible team. They don't score. I think they scored 11 points per game. And the line's at like minus 24 for UCF, and the total's at 46. So I like UCF to maybe cover, but the better bet's the under because Temple's not going to score any points.
There you go. You got yesterday's game right. You took ULL plus 11. You could have took them minus 9.5.
Yeah.
So you definitely got
I could have money on. I had ULL with the points, and I had the under. We cashed them both. So did the Earl Twins.
There you go. Ryan is going with Vegas team total over 4.5 plus 130. Occupancy is going Toronto team total over 3.5. IceX is going Florida and New York Islanders under 6. And Melissa is also going with Toronto Washington over 6.5. Will, I know you mentioned it before, but what is your over under for today?
Yeah, I did mention Seattle, LA, and I did play that on my Twitter, but I think for the show, I'm going to go with Arizona, Pittsburgh over 6.5. I have it projected closer to 7.7, and I think this can happen multiple ways. I think Pittsburgh can win 7-0. I think Pittsburgh can win 7-3. I think Arizona could win 5-4. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. So I'm more comfortable giving that one out.
I'm tailing that.
All
Just
right.
Putting it in right now.
We'll go on to dog of the day. And for me, I am on one dog, and that is the Buffalo Sabres. I'm taking the Sabres. Tim is obviously taking the Sabres as well. No big surprise there. Nick is going with the Philadelphia Flyers. Nick. Dave, you're going with the Chicago Bears, plus 102. Occupancy is going with the New York Islanders. Nick, I would have went with the Islanders instead if I were you, Nick, but hey, it is what it is. And IceX is taking the New York Rangers against the Wild. Will, is there a dog that you like today?
Yeah, the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
All right.
Will and I are going to be hockey best friends.
I will get odds for that after the show. And then going on to best bet. For me, nothing. I've still not put my best bet in yet. Give me a moment. Nick, is going with Minnesota Wild to win, -125. Tim, Calgary Flames, -1.5. Dave, you're going with the Bears money line. Ryan is going with Calgary in regulation, +125. Occupancy is going with the goalie save props, taking Ilya Samsonov over 26.5 saves for Toronto. IceX is taking Washington Capitals money line. Toller is taking Nashville Predators money line. Melissa is going with LA. Baseball on my mind. I don't know why baseball is on my mind, but LA Dodgers. LA Kings. Oh my gosh. LA Kings in regulation, -115. Will, what do you think for best bet?
If possible, I know there's supposed to be one unit. If you give me a half unit, I'd love to go the Blackhawks because it is my model's best bet today.
It's only a unit. It's only a unit.
I'll go for it. We'll go Blackhawks.
Yeah.
6% edge.
Yes.
All right. It'll be a huge dog if it catches. I'll get the odds after the show. And for me,
I only recommend a quarter unit.
Okay. So don't put the full unit on the Blackhawks. I don't usually struggle today, but I'm struggling here at best bet. I don't want to do it, but you know what? Give me the Minnesota Wild money line. Why not? It's the first game of the year. I'm going to do it. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to do it. Wild money line, -125. My best bet. They will go to 17-1-4 in season openers after today. That is today's show. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're growing every day. If you like the content, smash the like button. We appreciate all the support. Follow me, follow Will and Dave, follow everybody else. Everyone's link is in the description below, so make sure to go there. And we will see you again tomorrow for another episode. Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Best of luck today, guys, and have a good one.